Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Brian and I are doing a discussion for Glory, the game of gladiatorial combat and deck building. This is going to be kind of a two-part review because I have only played this as a 1v1, and Brad has actually played it with the expansion that causes it to be multiplayer. The person who recommended this game to me actually... he was like talking it up as a head-to-head, and I have been looking for a gladiator game that wasn't trash, and they don't exist. They don't exist. I think it's also because I'm not the biggest fan of skirmish games, which obviously that's what it's going to be. But like the Hoplomachus versus, I was like bored out of my mind. The Victorum solo mode just took way too long. The only other one is, I think it's called Rex something.
Don't forget about Spartacus.
Yeah.
Which is great multiplayer. I'm telling
That's true.
Sidebar. You need to play that with
I've told you,
people.
like, when you have
I know.
when you get a lot of people.
It's a long game, but
Yeah.
it's so fun with a large group of
and I'd be
people.
drinking, so I wouldn't care.
Right.
But no, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but there is a miniatures gladiator game. But
Arena Rex.
Arena Rex. That's I'm like, Rex Arena? Yeah, Arena Rex, which I've looked into, but it's like I'm not dumping money into a miniatures game. So someone talked this up, and he talked it up when I sold him Scarface 1920, and then I sold another game to him later, and then that's when he told me he liked it, and I should have been like, oh, then never mind, I'm not going to like For Glory. Our tastes are going to be way... This game was very frustrating for me. Not even really because the game is mainly the arena. Like, you're doing all the machinations for the arena. And I just found in a head-to-head game basically everything to be completely deterministic, and that's what we were talking about. And I do not find that fun at all. Like, just because the game is first to 6, so in a head-to-head, I won the first 2 things to get 3, then I won another one. So once someone has 4, there is no reason why you would never fight for the one that has 2 glory on it.
Yeah.
Because it's an auto win. So that's just all you do. Fuck the other stuff.
We played how many rounds? 3?
4?
4? And this one didn't get touched the last 2. The last 2 rounds of the whole deal we were at those didn't get messed with.
Yeah, because I was like, well, I don't need to hold on to that unless you put
I almost thought about
there.
putting one card there.
Right.
Like if I knew I had this one in control, but I didn't know because we were throwing so many people out.
And even then, let's say you don't only focus on this. When I had 4, or I had 3, then I got 4. Like, obviously you're going to keep trying to go for this one, but since I had such a significant lead, why wouldn't I just also split my forces to try and get this to get 1? Now I'm at 5.
Yeah.
Then we split it again, I get 6. So then it's not all fighting for the 1. But what's extremely annoying is you put in so much effort to do a battle, and it's like, oh, you have more units there? Okay. How many reserve tactic cards did you pick up? Yeah, you won.
Yeah. Yep. The head-to-head definitely... because the only randomness, if it's called really randomness in a battle, is what cards these people have.
Yeah.
You go through your deck so many times before a fight comes, generally. You're pretty much going to have everything you want, so you know what's coming. And then
exactly.
It's just...
Because the Bose cards increase in threshold, like Smash Up, that's kind of like the breaking point before you have a fight. And it's like... Okay, well, it started off at 6. Well, that happened really quick. Well, then it goes to 9, then 14, then whatever, 24. And it's like, because it gets so much higher, then, you're just going to get all your gladiators. You're going to get all your reserves. You're going to get all your tactics. So it's just basically it comes down to either pure randomness on who... I actually feel like it's determined on who actually has the stupid helmet that gets to trigger it, because
that kind of came in my favor because I lost the first one.
Yeah,
got
and then you
behind,
held
so
on
I
to it
had
the rest of the
because
game.
then we were tied going into the last round, and
it just stays. It's like, what? Because you won the last one too. Like, you won the one before that, but
To
then we
tie
were
us
tied
up
on
for it.
glory, and it's
Yeah.
like, oh no, you get to hold on to it. So it's another game of the rich get richer, because it's like, I'm the one who gets to trigger it, so I can kind of determine what's going first. I still get late registration. You don't get a fresh hand, so you basically kind of get 2
You
turns.
do, yeah. I mean, you get your fresh hand at the end of your turn. I mean,
No,
it's
because
not-
you have your hand to trigger it. Then you draw up again.
Well, right, but yeah.
And then
That's
I'm
true.
stuck with
But
my
you
hand.
still might have. We still drew the same number of cards throughout the game. Is my point, because this means you go first, so you're drawing your 7 cards on your last round. I draw my 7 cards. Yeah, we've all drawn the same number of cards throughout the whole game.
But what I'm saying is, no, you get to draw 1 extra hand. Because at the end of your turn, if you're the one who triggers the combat...
Right, but you draw at the end of your turn. That's why this whole machination phase is to draw 7 cards. We all draw that how many
then,
before we check the
then it
arena
doesn't
phase.
feel that way.
I
Because
know.
you could
Yeah.
sandbag a bunch of gladiators and be like, oh, okay, now it triggers. Here's my fresh hand. Here's more gladiators.
Well, and that's what, because you in those 7 you could use out of that hand to
Right.
play out. So I mean, we both get the same number of draws. It's just
then it
it all
does truly come
happens.
down to randomness. Because
Right,
then it's
it
like,
does.
oh, well, the rest of my cards, oh, there's my other gladiators.
Right.
I don't get to play them. Like, the last one I had this, whatever, Legatus
Mm-hmm.
card. Oh, I don't get to play him, so I'm stuck with my 3.
Right.
I don't get to... I guess if I happen to get gladiators, I could late favor them. But, oh, nope, I have all the cards that give me coins. So I can't play any of those. So it just feels really shitty when one player in a 2-player game has all the control over when we're doing something. On top of the fact that if you win the major one, you get a special ability. So it's like, not only do I get the glory, but I also get a special power. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, you instant win when you hit 6. Like, you would think in the catch-up mechanic, it's a fucking 1 dead card in a 40-card deck.
yeah.
There were so many things that were just getting increasingly more and more frustrating, where there's just a lot of like, well, can't do anything about that, can't do anything about that, can't do anything about that. Why are we doing this? How long is this game? We should play something else. Because even I also didn't really like the fact that you're limited on 1 tactic, because it feels way too slow. Like, if you wanted to go the ability of, like, putting a bunch of blessings out, well, blessings didn't fucking matter anyway, because it's like, I'm gonna do this, ping you for 1. Cool.
Yeah, that was the luck of having her, because it was just like
Yeah.
being able to.
Then it comes like,
Oh,
oh, okay, well, I'm gonna try and get rid of her. Nope, I'm gonna block all that damage. Okay. Then, oh, you exhausted my guy. Oh, like, I feel like this game would have been a lot better if it was victory point based. The instant win to glory, I feel like makes it way more frustrating, because it's like, if you win an arena, that these should be worth victory points, instead of being like, oh, now I got 2.
I mean, technically they are. I mean, these are victory points. It's the first to 6. I mean,
Well,
in a
okay,
weird way. I
let me
mean,
rephrase.
No, I know.
It shouldn't
It's-
be an instant win.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
you mean like go number?
yeah,
of
like a
rounds.
number of rounds. You do a number of fights,
Yeah.
and then you point up.
That's what the
like-
multiplayer is. It's 3 rounds. It's only
Well-
2. It's only 2 rounds in a 4-player game, and a 3-player game is
Gotcha.
3 rounds.
Yeah, but then that one is whoever just happens
Yeah.
to win the last one. So you put all this effort in again to be like, oh man, I won the first 2 rounds. What does that get me? Fuck it all, nothing.
Yeah, the
Except
battling
if-
is so much funner in multiplayer though, because let's say if we had a 3rd player and we had these armies and they had that army, then it's like it brings in like you might want to attack this one, but and
Right.
and then you're using your tactics on other people and you may not have them for others, so
Yeah.
it just adds more variety to the attacking. It's not deterministic at all because
because you have no idea what's
you
going
don't
to
have no
happen.
idea what's happening. Yeah,
Here,
so
yeah, because here you can look at any fight and be like, you won. And then you play it out to get coins.
and that's what we did the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I mean, the first 2 rounds, you blanked me on those battles, so I was just like,
Okay,
we played
yeah,
out
let's
the
just
coins.
play it out, I guess, to see
I
how
just
many
won the
you're
late
killing.
game too. That was the.
Yeah, it's like, because here's like I like the deck building part. Like, I think the gladiators have cool abilities. I think I like the 3 different decks of like the politics, the fighting, and then like
Tactics and
the tactics
schemes.
for the fighting. All of that I enjoy. I think there's a bunch of different avenues for strategy. I do think there's obviously a meta, like get as many of those symbols as possible, just because then you're gonna need gladiators.
I did that mainly because when you bought that backstab card, I was like, I need to have backup in case you kill one of them.
But there's like nothing to cancel out people's tactics. You can't really underhand anyone except for just.
Yeah, there's not.
I also think it's kind of weird that if you exhaust one of their people, they have to pull a gladiator out. It's like, what do you mean? They're already in the fight.
Yes,
Hey,
it lost
pause.
the influence,
Pause,
yeah.
everyone. No, they didn't pay up. You. It's like, isn't this a fight to the death? It's like, I'd be the guy that's like, well, thank God. Like, get me the fuck out of here. Oh, shit. But, yeah, just any game that is rich get richer, I find it extremely annoying. Because then it's like, well, if you lose at the very beginning, then be like, okay, I guess that's that. Guess I'll just quit trying. So
Yeah, because this game in particular, like we said, we did 4 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
You won the first 2 rounds,
yeah,
and then I won the last 2,
yep,
and that was kind of
that was pretty much it.
yeah.
And not once did I find the battle fun. Like,
No, that's why and that was my biggest complaint.
Yeah.
After the first round or 2, I told you before we started, I was like, the battle is not going to be something you're going to like.
yeah,
You know, I mean, it's, and I don't even like that kind of battling. Like, just having the extra in the multiplayer, having that other options is what makes that part fun.
right.
When push comes to shove, though, because this game, it took how long? Probably an hour and a half to run through these.
Yeah, that's the
rounds,
other thing.
probably.
It's fucking long.
Like I would almost on a game like this, I would rather spend a little bit extra time and just play Spartacus.
That's
Because
true.
There's more intrigue and more stuff behind the scenes you can do,
Yeah.
and the battles are more.
And it's not just
There's dice, so it's not deterministic as much. There's still
that's
randomness
true.
and
There's no
stuff,
way of you
know?
being able to be like,
Right. So I think Spartacus to me would be what I would rather play.
yeah.
You know.
I'd actually rather play Hoplomachus because I wasn't pissed off whenever the fucking battling was there.
Yeah.
I mean, it was boring, but I was like, yeah, all right, we got these units, we can move around. Here, you don't do that. You just play your cards on an arena, and then you just kind of, you tap them.
Mm-hmm.
You tap them and do piddly-ass damage. Or just be like, okay, well, this guy has this, he gets an extra attack for every other exhausted, so he's now a 4 plus my 1, so he's doing 5. He one-shots. Oh, nope, I exhaust him. You block 2 of it, so never mind, your guy's barely alive, so let's just keep this. It's been 6 hours. Like,
Well, and these entangle cards are so powerful.
yeah.
Just being able to exhaust. Because just exhausting one of your guys and then you're done until... Because I
Yeah.
have people non-exhausted.
Yeah.
It's just,
And I knew you had those.
No, I know, but it's still, they're just strong.
There's nothing I can do about them.
Yeah.
Like, because you're gonna have your stack of money, so it's not like I can do anything to dwindle your resources to buy them back. You're the one who basically dictates. You can just sandbag an arena to cause the fight, so then it's like, oh, haha, like, because you go through your decks so quick, because of the ever-increasing gladiator stuff, or the boast, whatever the threshold is, it's just like, getting to 24 is going to take a little bit, so you're going to get all of them to put them in reserve, and you're going to get your coal, and you're going to get your fucking whatever, to have your plethora of money to then pay for all of them back. So it's like, clearly I know you have your damage block, I know you have your entangled, I know you have your backstab. I guess I'll just sit here and just whip my dick out and play with it, because there's, oh man, look at that. And I think that's why they tried to do the one tactic a turn, but just to be like, lucky me, I got all the entangle, exhaust your best gladiator. And just by that card alone, it's like, I lost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because there's only one person that I know of. I mean, I haven't been through the whole deck of gladiators, but that one that we both have,
Oh, the one that can't be targeted.
Yeah, like
yes.
so you can't use reactions or
Yeah.
tactics on him.
Yeah.
So that made him
Yeah,
a good
Secutor.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your opponent may not select Secutor as a target for tactics or reactions. And he's not bad.
Well, that's
He's
what that's
3,
the one I
3,
told
and
you Chad used. He kept putting blessings on it,
Yeah,
and that way you couldn't use tactics to do special things to it. So you had to
right.
hit him, and you don't. That's another thing in the multiplayer. There isn't any of this. You don't have
Oh,
5, 6 gladiators out. You may have 3, 4
Yeah.
at the most
yeah.
per person. So it's not like you're fielding it with
Right,
5,
you don't
6,
have an
7.
army.
right?
Like, yeah.
Because these numbers are different in 3
Oh,
or 4 player games.
gotcha.
This is just the 2-player cards.
I wonder if this game didn't do well because it was 2-player, and they're like, multiplayer.
Well, I
It's
think
like,
a lot of people
oh.
wanted solo,
Oh,
and then I think
that seems less frustrating.
they can be like, I don't know, I'll try it and see. But multiplayer for sure.
Yeah,
is
'cause
a
five-
step up. It's still
five-
not great.
The multi.
But, yeah, but I mean, it's still it's the same game virtually.
Mm.
The winning conditions kind of sketchy because
I hate them both.
right because you play we played a 3-player game. You play 3 rounds, and the first 2 rounds, another guy won both of them. Had the special powers each time. You only play for one arena and not the whole deal, and then whoever wins the third one wins the
Wins
entire
the
game.
entire game, yeah.
Well, and I happened to get lucky and get enough of my stuff out there and had
Yeah.
enough tactics out there that I ended up winning the third one, and I'd lost both the first one. I was the first person eliminated the first
Yeah.
2 rounds, and then I ended up winning the game because I bought the
Yeah.
last one. That's the worst thing about multiplayer. The battling is a little better.
Yeah.
This section of your game is all the same.
The machinations, yeah, like I said,
Yeah,
the
the
deck building
machination
part,
stuff is identical.
I enjoyed that quite a bit. It just sucks that that's soured in the head-to-head combat. And then, yeah, like the win condition in the third one is also equally annoying. Like, I guess you could theoretically house rule that and do best 2 out of 3, whoever wins 2. But, I mean, if you're playing a 3-player game, each of you can win 1. So, you could still probably house rule it that if that's the case, no, that wouldn't work either. Because then if like in a 3-player game, if I won 1 and you won 1, then the third person has no chance. It just feels weird and clunky. I just don't see why they didn't go for... Because in Spartacus, it's victory points, right?
Yeah, it's like the influence points at
Yeah.
the top of your board.
I just don't see
Very
why they didn't do
bonus.
something like that. Like, if you're like, winning arenas shouldn't be the end-all, be-all, because, like we know in Spartacus, you don't have to win a single fight. I mean, you know that more than I do,
You
but
just have to be good at behind the scenes and manipulating.
and that's
the
a lot
deal and
of
everything.
this kind of shit, is that behind-the-scenes seedy politics stuff, where it's like, hey, actually, I'm going to pay you to fucking Nancy Kerrigan that gladiator's knee. I really need him out of here. And it's like, haha, I successfully did a sabotage thing that gets me some victory points. But yeah, this one was just... It's like, ooh, man, I'm going to build my deck. I'm going to see what my deck can do. And, oh... Well, you have those abilities that are way better than the one I got.
Yeah, I will say if I have, I'm picking at things here. Like if there's a positive to this with the deck building aspect, is I like the idea that you can, because your deck gets thick. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of ways to cull. I mean, you have that cull
You have a
card
literal card that's called
that doesn't,
Cull.
but
yeah.
it's kind of you'd rather hit the 2 coins more times than you want to cull.
Yeah.
But I really like this reserve spot.
Yeah.
That was the unique part of the deck building to me because
Yeah.
because then you're buying these cards and then instead of them just being situational like, oh, I happen to have them in my
Yeah.
second, then you're putting them and then you have to pay for them. So you could step back and have 7, 8, 9 of those
Yeah.
over here, but you're going to have to pay the entire cost to get all of them in
Yeah.
there before the battle.
I almost feel like that's how you would win a multiplayer
And it
game,
whittles
though.
your deck
That's true.
down to keep your gladiators coming
Yeah.
more
Because if you
frequently.
just stand back and you just put them there and then you just hoard all that, in a multiplayer game, you just wait till the final fight.
Yeah.
And then you're like, I'm going to spend 20 coins and get 20 tactics in my hand. But then you can only play one.
Right, one per
One
deal,
per-
so-
one per
and
turn.
you don't have as many gladiators out. So
That's true, yeah, so it
it's-
probably wouldn't work.
Yeah. But no, I mean,
Yeah, the reserve thing is nice. That there's another way to thin your deck out besides actually just culling.
That's really the only unique thing, though, I see.
I do not like, especially in head-to-head games, that's why it was really frustrating, wasted turns. Where it's like, okay, here's my one tactic per turn. I'm going to put a blessing on a gladiator, and you dealt 1 damage and got rid of it. Okay, so why that was a wasted tactic. Because it's like, I'm going to play this to exhaust him and then ping your other gladiator for a damage. Oh, well, that gets rid of my blessing. Now I'm going to attack him and kill him. Okay.
Yeah.
So why did I even do anything? Yeah, it's just, there are just so many things about it that I find it very frustrating. I mean, theoretically, I can't say it's like an unbalanced game because it was 4-6. Whoever would have won the last one would have won. But I just don't feel like, even if I had won, I wouldn't have felt like I earned it. You know, it would have been like, oh, it just happened to go my way, versus I strategically and meticulously planned this fight. Yeah, honestly, I probably would have preferred something like this and then use dice.
Yeah, I know. This is one that I would rather have had dice on.
Exactly.
You know, sometimes dice, I don't want dice in card games, but this is the kind of one I almost would.
Yeah.
Just to have that.
Just to get some excitement, because it's like these abilities are neat. The like, there's a bunch of variety. Yeah, there's repeats in there, but there's a bunch of different types of gladiators, bunch of different types of whatever these are called. I can't remember. Patrons, and then tactics and reactions.
Well, and there's actually with the expansion actually added this little. There's a little deck of
sexy cards.
Well, this is the Legends expansion, but there's actually champions.
Oh, okay.
That you mix in there, and they're like
super good,
super powerful and expensive like versions, which to me would just be like this is Legends. I don't know what's in that. It's got like some champions and some other type stuff in it.
I could see this also being frustrating because then it becomes whose turn is it?
Yeah.
You know,
this is the
okay. So they have tactics and schemes in here.
So they're the silver helmet.
I see.
So it's like this one is cheap, but
Tetrites. He's a 1 attack, 2 health, and I'm gonna just go ahead and say this art is grotesque. I hate it so bad. Honestly, I'd take the Miko's art. At least that's creative and fun to look at. But
so these are like, these are interesting because like these champions, they're actually level up. It looks like I haven't played with the champions, but like each one of them starts off with this one, and then there's like a 2-cost version, a 3-cost version, and they're all more stronger and have bigger abilities. It's like
Spartacus. I mean, yeah, like I said, these abilities
up.
are fucking neat. Like, he costs 2 of the whatever, it costs 12 to purchase. Reaction: when Spartacus enters the arena, he gains the text of a target gladiator. You may replace the target at the beginning of each of your combat turns.
You know what would have been sick, and I'm glad you didn't choose it, was going after this one. Could you imagine having some of those abilities of the ones that we both had on the deal?
Yeah.
And those our weak guys copy all their abilities.
Yeah.
That would have been stupid.
Yeah,
Like it would have been hard to keep track of, too.
Yeah, he copies the effect of, like, oh, if they're exhausted, they block a damage.
Yeah, and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And I thought about doing that. Like, I thought about sitting here and going, okay, well, I have that one. Yeah, I'll try and I won 3, and then the 4th one, so then I guess I'll just get 1 and 1. But I'm like, that's kind of lame.
Well, the problem is you only can go to one of these at a time.
Right, but this was already in my favor.
Well, right, but I mean, as far as like for victory glory wise,
yeah.
Like,
but I would have wanted, like, because I was so like I was ahead. Even if I just let you have this one to try and catch up and get 2, then it's like, okay, now it's 3-2. Oh, or 4-2.
Yeah.
Then you win that one again, so then it's 4-5.
Right.
And then.
Yep.
But that's the thing, it's like, yeah, that's also kind of really fucking annoying too because of those. If this is in my favor, then I just send one guy here, meaning you can never take that from me. Yep. And now I just have that tactic.
Which I would be going. No, you'd go first. Yeah, never mind.
So yeah, I don't find it it's clearly random because it's a deck builder. But it's too much of just multiple things that I find as a negative and more frustrating that just build up to not an enjoyable experience for me. And so, yeah, just there add the pile of Gladiator games that I just don't enjoy. Spartacus notwithstanding, because I played that at 3.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, the 3-player game you enjoy, the multiplayer.
I like it better. I'm not
Okay.
saying it fixes everything and makes this a outstanding game by any means.
Yeah.
But it's definitely better playing it multiplayer than and it maxes at 4. I haven't played the solo version, so I can't attest to that. But in a 4-player game, there's only 2 rounds.
Okay.
So
it's
it's whoever wins that last
the second one
would win the game. But
that's also weird. That's just.
but your
weird.
numbers are really high on these, so you get more. I mean,
Yeah, you get a
you have
lot
4
more
people,
gladiators
right?
out. Yeah, it is kind of weird in a 2-player game. You have your own army. It's like what? 5 people in an arena sounds like the max. I don't remember it being, riddled with 20 people. Yeah, I don't really have a lot of positives besides talking about the deck building part. But unfortunately, that really doesn't do you a whole lot of good when it all does kind of come down to who happens to get gladiators out quicker, and who controls when the fight happens. Because if you riddle your deck with gladiators, then you could theoretically just boom, 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 and it's like, aha, now it triggers. Then it's like, okay, well, I didn't really get to go through my deck a whole lot.
First round.
Yeah.
This is the first round. I had my 2 freebies out, and
Yeah.
you
But that
cleared.
first round would have been different anyway because you didn't late register.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And again, it almost seems like a lot of their decisions they made in the arena phase was to try and counteract a bad gameplay design. Like, oh, well, someone could sandbag with, an arena with gladiators. Oh, but you can late register, you can pay to bring people in. It's like, why don't you just... the things I would get rid of is, there shouldn't be, if you have the crowd's favor check for the arena, that should be, after everyone has had an equal amount of turns.
that's what it is. Because you're always the first player. Whoever has this is always the second player. So we are at the same number of turns every time. Because you always go first, and this is always the second player. So you always go. I'm like in a circular thing. I would always go last. Whoever has this.
I guess it didn't feel that way.
I know it is. That's how it is, though. I mean, it's because you go first every round, and then I would finish it up. That's why they have this, I think, so that everybody does get the same number of rounds.
I guess it definitely doesn't feel that way
Yeah.
at all. It felt like I was being halted whenever you would go, and then we'd have an arena phase that almost felt like it was interrupting anything that I'd get to do on my turn. Even though it's like, I guess I got to draw an equal amount, but I'm looking at my hand of like, oh, there's gladiators. Oh, there's more of these.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's like on the very first round of the game, you had this.
Yeah.
So I played first, and then, but it's always the person going last is the one that gets the check, because then that way we both go the same number of turns.
Well, actually, no, because you took that because
you had it first round.
Well, and that was it.
Right, but then I took it, so then you were going first every round, and I was ending every round.
And then it was a tie,
So.
and it's like, oh, you get to keep it? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then it's also the fucking I won, and I also get an ability, so I'm going to keep winning. Because, you used your special abilities you got from the last two to drastically hinder. It's like, wait, so you won and you're rewarded for winning?
Yeah, this one was every time you killed
And all
somebody, I
mine
had to ready
was...
one.
Yeah, all mine was all my gladiators get 1 attack.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's pretty neat. Whenever hey, I'm gonna attack with this one, he does 3 damage. Yeah, I'm blocking 2 of it. Alright. So not for me. Very, very frustrating in a lot of ways. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give For Glory?
I'll give it 2 ratings. The 2-player rating, I'll give a 5.
Okay.
The multiplayer, probably a 6.
6.
And then solo to be determined.
TBD.
I don't know on that for sure. I'll try it out and see.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5 and 6.
Yeah, obviously I can't give it a multiplayer rating. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4. In a head-to-head, I mean, the deck building is the deck building, but unfortunately, it doesn't do you any good. Like you can deck build and be like, okay, but if you just don't get lucky enough to win the 2 glory things, then you're kind of behind. So I was like, well, I'm mad, and I don't want to keep doing this. Like, I don't want to finish out the other portion of it, but we'll fucking do it just to see how many coins everyone's getting.
That was another thing, and I know not to backtrack a little bit. I wonder what it would have changed if this would have just been 1 for each one. It would have gamed longer, obviously.
Yeah.
But then it would have been like, you could have gamed where you're going, like you didn't, you know?
Right.
It's like, but having 2, I mean, that just made it obvious.
I mean, because think about it. Like,
Yeah.
there's a reason why Smash Up is dog shit at 2. Mm-hmm. Because it's deterministic. And then it's clearly superior at 3. So, I mean, I bet you, like, yeah. And then in a solo game, you just don't have another person to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's not
AI,
as frustrating.
I'm not sure how the AI will work, but...
Yeah, I mean, if you change the major arena as to 1, then you would probably... I would almost treat it as, like, Sorcerer, where this isn't some weird, you can only pick 1, and just get rid of this, and you just have a deck of different arenas, and you pop 3 of them out, and then you determine which one you want to fight for which strategy. And then it's like, okay, I won this one, but you won that one, so I get this ability. Like, instead of having it be, these are always fought for... It's like, nope, this is now mine. And then you won that one, so you get that one. And then we had to get a whole new set. Well, this one stays out. Or you recycle it, then a whole new 3 set of arenas to fight in.
Right.
To be like, which one do I want to go for? And they all still only give you 1, but it's not as bitter to be like, I won this one. Get 2. I'm a third of the way to winning. And I also get this disgusting ability, you know, because they're all OP.
Yeah, because that first round, I mean, you got 3 points.
It was halfway to winning.
Like,
yeah.
right on that first round.
Yeah.
Mind you, I should have put a person out, and it might have changed.
It might have changed,
but
yeah.
But still, I mean,
because think about this. It's like tactic, exhaust Ostia, deal 1 damage to each gladiator. Like, I mean, that's disgusting. If you have a tactic, it's like, I'm going to give all my guys 1 health. And it's like, okay, that's each gladiator. That gets rid of a lot of weak ones. That does ping damage, makes it way more powerful. Yeah, I mean, again, there's just things about this game that we can tweak to make better, but unfortunately, I don't rate games or play games on designing them differently. Just design better games.
Yep.
So, I'm still leaving it at a 4.
Yep.
I did not have a good time, but that's it. That's our thoughts on 4 Glory. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.